In a village among the Kaatskill Mountains, there lived a simple, good-natured fellow called Rip Van Winkle. The children of the village loved him. He assisted at their sports and made their playthings. He also taught them to fly kites and shoot marbles and told them stories. Rip helped everyone in their work, but could not keep his own farm in order. His fences fell to pieces, his cows strayed, weeds grew in his fields. His wife complained about his idleness. His son, Rip, inherited his habits. His sole follower was his dog, Wolf. Rip used to sit and talk with his friends on long summer days. Nicholas Vedder, the landlord of the village inn, was Rip's good friend. Rip had to leave this group eventually, as his wife complained that his friends encouraged his idle habits. Poor Rip was reduced almost to despair. He started walking away into the woods with Wolf. On one of these days, Rip had gone high up the Kaatskill Mountains. From there, he looked down into a deep and dark valley. Evening was gradually advancing. He felt that he should return home. As he was about to go down, he heard a voice from the distance calling, "Rip Van Winkle! Rip Van Winkle!" He saw a strange figure slowly coming up the rocks. He carried something heavy on his back. Coming closer, Rip saw a short old man with thick bushy hair and a beard. He made signs for Rip to assist him with the load. Always helpful, Rip did so. They came to a round hollow, surrounded by trees. On a level spot in the center, he saw a most unusual crowd of people playing at ninepins. They looked peculiar. One had a large head, broad face, and small piggish eyes. The face of another seemed to consist entirely of nose. They all had beards of various shapes and colors. They were enjoying themselves, yet were silent. They looked at Rip with a fixed, statue-like gaze. His companion, it seemed, was carrying some liquid in a keg on his back. This was unloaded, and everyone drank from the keg. Rip was fearful at first. After a while, his fear subsided. Feeling thirsty, he had several drinks himself. Slowly, his eyes closed. He fell into a deep sleep. On waking, he found himself on the high hill where he had first seen the old man. It was a bright, sunny morning. The birds were twittering among the bushes. "Surely," thought Rip, "I have not slept here all night." He whistled for Wolf, but no dog was to be seen. He decided to visit the scene of last evening. When he reached the spot, he was surprised to see that a mountain stream was now flowing through it. What was to be done? The morning was passing away, and poor Rip was hungry. He shook his head and went homeward. As he came near his village, he met many people he had never seen before. This surprised him, as he thought he knew everyone around his village. They all stared at him with surprise. Rip suddenly noticed that his beard had grown a foot long. He saw his village was now larger, with more people. There were rows of houses which he had never seen before. Strange names were over the doors. He found his own house was empty and in ruins. He called loudly for his wife and children. All was silence. The village inn was gone. The appearance of Rip with his long beard and peculiar dress soon attracted the attention of people. Rip told them that he meant no harm, but merely came there to look for his friends and folks. He asked about Nicholas Vedder. There was silence for a little while. Then an old man replied, "Nicholas Vedder? Why, he is dead and gone for these 18 years. Rip's heart died away at finding himself thus alone in the world. He cried out, "Does nobody here know Rip Van Winkle?" "Oh, there he is, leaning against the tree," exclaimed 2 or 3. As he looked, Rip saw a fellow who looked exactly like his previous self. He understood that this was his son, Rip. Just then, a young woman with a child came his way. She said that Rip Van Winkle had been her father, and had gone away 20 years back when she was little. All stood amazed. An old woman looked at his face and exclaimed, "Sure enough, it is Rip Van Winkle. Welcome home again, old neighbor. Why, where have you been these 20 long years?" Soon everybody came to know Rip's story, for the whole 20 years had been to him but as one night. Some had doubts and insisted that Rip had been out of his head. Even to this day, a thunderstorm on a summer afternoon at Kaatskill reminds them of the strange people playing at a game of 9 pins.